Every car them broken on.
Everything.
Every car fuck up.
Oh, that's a liquor.
Every car fuck up. Everything. Watch out.
On the spot news media, we got the latest news. We don't care about the views, we just representing right. Put local news internationally every night. On the spot, wave that Jamaican flag from left to right. Let's get it right, y'all know the type. We ain't dealing with the hype. We make it take flight.
Yeah man, my viewers and subscribers, what Guan, a blessed and wonderful Wednesday evening to each and every person out there tuning into On The Spot News Media. Now my peeps, I have a few stories to share with you, the regular members of Chan Public, and also members of the diaspora, so please like the video, share the video, watch the entire vlog, so you can get a full understanding and a better appreciation of everything we are going in Jamaica. So watch this now my peeps, we're going to kick it off over there in the troubled, war-torn, crime-riddled St. Catherine South Police Division. But this time is not no knockings and clappings, more like the scammings. Yeah, man. Now, the police have arrested 2 persons yesterday, Tuesday, October 15th, during an intelligence-led operation targeting suspected lottery scamming activities in the parish of St. Catherine. The operation took place in the gated community of the prestigious Caribbean estate that's in Portmore, St. Catherine, and it was carried out by a team of officers from the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch that are CTAC man them. And also they got some assistance from police operatives from the St. Catherine South Police Division. Now, during the search of a property, the law enforcement officers seized over 64 million Jamaican dollars. 317,000 United States dollars and over 11,500 British pound sterling. And of course, among those were other currencies. They also seized 2 firearms and a ballistic vest was also recovered. The 2 firearms recovered was a Beretta BU-9 compact 9mm pistol with 5 rounds of ammunition and also a Taurus 9mm pistol with a magazine but no rounds. The officers also confiscated 4 motor vehicles valued at approximately $17 million as well as 6 high-end mobile cell phones. But the most interesting thing about this, my peeps, I want to listen to the part here carefully. The 2 individuals arrested are said to be 32-year-old Treasury custodian employed to wear Beryllium, and also his 32-year-old female common law spouse, who is also a former employee of the Beryllium Security Company. So now we are going to hear from the man who led that operation into Caribbean Estate and unfolded this magnificent find. Listen.
Between the hours of 5 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. today, Tuesday, October 15, 2024, intel-driven operation was conducted at premises 22D, St. Vincent Boulevard. The operation yielded approximately 50 million Jamaican dollars, US currency and British pounds. 4 high-end motor vehicles were seized, as well as 2 firearms. 2 adults were arrested They will be processed and charged under the Proceeds of Crime offences as well as the Firearms Act. These premises and these two individuals have been under the radar for quite a while, but as you know, we try to ensure that all the efforts are put in a very tight and professional investigations. So one of the things too that I want to advise persons about is that no longer are we seeing where persons who are charged with lottery scamming activities or fraud are just doing that. They are always armed with firearms, so they are getting more violent and more violent as the days go by. Based on the amount of monies that were seized here today, it is obvious that we will have to include our external partners. FID, which is the Financial Investigation Division, MOCA, if needs be, the US Embassy. Our partners at the US Embassy will be invited to sit around a table for us to discuss and do this investigation together.
Now, my peeps, see we are going right there, so. Over $100 million when you combine all currencies together. Found in a house, stacks and stacks of cash. And then we sit and wonder if I just the old dirty kind of boy them alone set up these Beryllium robberies island-wide. No. Definitely pleased with this magnificent find by the police. Well done, squaddies. I hope you can put the case file together so you can now secure a conviction. Even though we know say a white collar crime them not gonna get too much time on the money, but you find some strap. So they might get some time, some real time for the straps them. Yeah, man. And still on the topic of scamming, my peeps, we have for you a disgruntled member of Jan Public who just try to make a honest living. And because of the scamming nature of some of our people, it just make our life and business hard. So she a pour out. Now listen.
Scamming culture makes everything in Jamaica 10 times harder. So NCB came out with this new feature where it doesn't matter if the person is already a beneficiary in your account, you still have to enter your token. It doesn't matter if you send this person money weekly or daily. Each time you make a transaction, you have to enter your token. I understand. This is all because of scamming and to keep us safe. But it is so freaking annoying. And from a business perspective, I own and operate an online business. 30% of new clients that I get, the first question they ask is this a scam? This morning, I had a lady message me. Went through all of the necessary information just to profess. I sell meal and workout plans. So went through all of the process. Asked her for information, did a questionnaire. When it came time to transfer the money, she said, can you give me a call? So I was like, sure. She sent me her number. I called her, introduced myself. She's like, okay, I just wanted to make sure that I'm talking to a real person because of the scamming. I've had customers say, okay, let me transfer half of the money now and transfer the other half when the plan is ready. It's not a crazy amount of money. It's $4,000. But people are scared because of this freaking scamming culture. And then you have the buffoons online glorifying this. The scammer, them buy them Benz and Bima. Everybody is like, yeah man, hard work. No, you're a thief. Stealing people's money and making it worse for people who are genuinely trying to make a honest living in Jamaica. Annoying as hell.
And still in the parish of St. Catherine, but this time in the St. Catherine North Police Division, the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDICOM, has launched a probe into the fatal knockings and clappings of a Jamaican man who resides in the United States of America by an off-duty policeman at an event in Yuatan, St. Catherine on Sunday night. Now, the deceased man is presently on your screen, and he has since been identified as 34-year-old Vivian Francis. It is said that he resided in East Windsor in the state of New Jersey. Now, it is reported that Mr. Francis and the policeman got into a dispute. They got into the dispute at the event at the Yuatan Sports Complex sometime after 10 p.m. It is said that during that dispute, Mr. Francis allegedly pulled a knife for knife up the policeman. It is said that the policeman pulled his firearm from his waistband in defense of his life and carned him up, leaving him lifeless. He was rushed to the hospital where he was officially pronounced you know what. The policeman was reportedly forced to retreat the venue after he was attacked by angry patrons. So On The Spot News Media received a few messages refuting the claim of the policeman, stating that the situation could have been handled differently and him never have to run him down and gun him down. Yeah, man. So anyone out there who was at that particular party, that venue, that sporting event, whatsoever it is that was being conducted over there, when I can reach out to On The Spot News Media, I could get the fullness of what really took place. Yeah, man. So moving right along now, my peeps, over there in the neighboring parish of St. Anne, where a man who breached security at the Runaway Bay police station in St. Anne on Saturday, and he attempted to smuggle contraband into the facility. He was caught, arrested, and charged. The criminal element has since been identified as Alfonso Harton, otherwise known as Prince, said to be 32 years of age, and he is from the Lower Brixton community in Brownstown, St. Anne. He was charged for introducing contraband into a penal facility. So reports reaching On The Spot News Media is that sometime around 5:30 p.m., off-duty police personnel observed a man jumping over the wall at the back of the station. It is said that he proceeded to the vicinity of the cell block where he placed a package at the back of the facility. An alarm was raised and the suspect held and the parcel retrieved. The parcel contained cigarettes, vegetable matter resembling that of the good old ganja, and also a ratchet knife. So right there and then, youth, I hope they lock you up in the same lockups where you did a try for sending things for your criminal friend them. Boy, may I tell you, people fool. So watch this now all the way over there in Western Jamaica. In the day, chance for justice rang out from a section of the Montego Bay to Negril main road this morning here. Residents protested against a police fatal knockings and clappings were going over the weekend. It is reported that sometime around 1 p.m. last Saturday, a 20-year-old man identified as Adria Vidal, a resident of the Hellgate community in Montpelier, Hanover, was fatally taken out in a hail of bullets during a firefight with the police in his community. The police stated that a Glock pistol with a magazine containing 5 live 9mm rounds was reportedly taken from him. But the residents from Montpelier are refuting the claims of the police and argued that the incident was unwarranted. So now what we are going to hear from an angry resident from Montpelier. She has since been identified as Audrey Irvin. Then we're going to hear from the Deputy Superintendent in charge of operations, that's Angela McIntosh Gill. Then we'll be hearing from the man in charge of the Hanover Police Division, that's Superintendent Andrew Nish, as they all weighed in on this latest spate of knockings and clappings between police and gunmen, and the citizens and the police clashing in that particular police division. Listen.
Police come, knock on the grill, and he come and open the grill. Once he open the grill, the police just push him in a room and just shot him. Police has injured a gun at them. But gun, and you come out just in your underpants and open the grill. Or you gonna draw a gun, and then you open the grill, letting the police. If you didn't have gun, you want to open the grill, then let them pop up the grill to come in. You get up, go downstairs, open the grill, letting in them. tell mommy to sit on the couch, and then they push him in her room, and all she hear is a shot. One shot fire in her head. They drag him, put him in a jeep. 2 of them gone with him, and from them gone with him, we don't hear nothing. Nobody come to talk to us. And they come down there, but they said they was coming back to view the features from the camera, but I know nobody no come from Saturday. We cut up, we devastated because somehow in our house, come on, our police gonna come if any gunman that bad.
A loss of life is not something that we glorify, but when it do happen, we take the necessary steps to ensure that justice is served. So whatever they deem justice to be, we are already embarking on that. And so we ask the community to desist from what they are doing, because it is also a breach of the National Solid Waste Act, and so persons can be charged. But as not to stir up any problem now, we are aware of who are involved, but we are dealing with it at a different way.
Presently, things are under control. The road is now clear. Vehicle is moving about. 2 lanes of traffic. The situation stemmed from an incident that took place on Saturday, where a young man in a confrontation with the police was shot and killed. The police, they are fully cooperating with the investigation that Indicom is doing. But one of the major concerns of the residents is that Indicom promised that they would come back to interview some people and view our camera footage, and they didn't return. However, contact was made with the director of Indicom, and they assured their family and the residents that they will do the necessary later today or first thing tomorrow morning.
Now, the last thing that we're going to talk about, my peeps, we have a list of some criminal elements who have been deemed wanted by the police. The first 4 is the Trelawny Police Division most wanted. Yeah, man. Now, the first criminal element on that list of 4 for Trelawny has since been identified as Floyd Gray, but he's more popularly known in the streets as Ajay. He's from Brook Green in St. Ann and also Cockburn Pen and also Trelawny. So he's a brother where I travel all boat. He's wanted for a slew of criminal activities to include fatal knockings and clappings and of course some whole heap of shooting incidents. Now, the next criminal element has since been identified as Delmark Sinclair, but more popularly known in the streets as Fry. He's said to be from a Sherwood content community in the parish of Trelawny. He is also wanted for the offence of a fatal knockings and clappings. The next criminal element presently on your screen has since been identified as Stanford Morrison, but more popularly known in the criminal underworld as Tete or Frassa, and some people call him Frassman. He's said to be from the Zions district community in the parish of Trelawny, and he too is wanted for fatal knockings and clappings. And last but most definitely not the least for the 4 Trelawny criminal elements is this criminal element presently on your screen identified as Rio Rochester, said to be from Joblin, also from Christiana and Frequenz, Manchester. He's wanted by the Trelawny police for the offence of a fatal knockings and clappings. Now, this criminal element here presently on your screen are one of them rapeable type of man there. Yeah, man. He has since been identified as Lincoln Farkison, wanted for a hold on and take and some grievous assaults whilst carrying out those criminal activities. He's wanted by the Black River CIB in St. Elizabeth. And last but most definitely not the least, this criminal element here, presently on your screen identified as Jermaine Smith, but he's more popularly known in the streets as Cartel or Gaza Man. Some people may call him even Worm in the streets. He's wanted for fatal knockings and clappings. He frequents the Golden Spring community. He also frequents Lime Edge, and he also frequents Mount James. He is wanted by the St. Andrew North Police Division, more so the Constant Spring Police, CIB. So right there and then, my peeps, anyone knowing the whereabouts of any one of these criminal elements, reach out to the nearest police station. And as always, my peeps, if you not trust the police, link on the Spot News Media or any like-minded vlogger. Give us the information and we will most definitely pass it on to the relevant authorities who can make effective change. Yeah, man. So anyway, my peeps, remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned to On The Spot News Media as I continue to bring you fresh news and updates in subsequent newscast. On The Spot News Media. Yeah, man.